What makes one cyclist better than the other is his ability to suffer. That basically is what the X factor is in cycling.
It's just so physically painful because you're so fatigued. Your muscles are just completely worn out. When you get to that point, it's just all mental. You know, it's like, can I keep going?
When you show up to race day, you have to have that killer instinct. You have to be willing to push yourself much farther than you can in training. How you prepare for that exactly mentally, I don't know. It just seems like some guys have it and some guys don't.
The Tour de France is, for me, the most beautiful race. Nothing else comes close. It's the event that got me into cycling. It's what I dreamt of when I was a kid. I started reading books on it in magazines. Tour de France became this sort of mythical creature on the distant horizon.
You get in the field of riders and they're all as good as you. And they all work at least as hard as you work. And they all want to win, you know. And then you throw in the rain or the snow or the distance. And not everybody can handle that.
Most cycling fans, they really love the sport. And I think they're pretty disappointed right now in all the scandals that have really hurt the sport over the last couple of years. They want to believe again, but it's getting to the point where they can't. I mean, the skepticism is almost overwhelming any sense of hope.
People are really hungry for performances they can believe in. Cycling fans want a different kind of dream team. Not necessarily a team with the best athletes in the sport, but a team with a dream to get things moving in the right direction in cycling.
I think that's one of the big things about this team, that we do things a little bit differently, a little bit open to being different. We are a little team, the little engine that could.
Get back up to speed as fast as you can. Come on, Friedman, come on. Big gear out of the saddle. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, Friedman. Come on, get up to speed. There you go. Come on, Friedman. Little more, little more, little more. Get her up to speed.
You know, on every cycling team I've ever been on, doping is always a topic. You know, who's doing it, who isn't. It's very, you know, hushed tones and, you know, this guy's got something new. I mean, that was sort of what slowly led to my retirement from cycling. I sort of had an anger about there were certain people doing things one way and there were others doing it another, and it really wasn't fair. And I know life's not fair, but you know, maybe sports should hold itself to a higher standard than life. You know? And so I decided to start this little junior team, and as the junior team started growing and getting closer to being a professional team, I realized, ooh, wait a minute, like what am I throwing these guys into? The world I left was not a place that any parent would want their son to go into. But then when we started coming up with this plan of how we could actually do it, you know, differently than everyone else, and the idea of building the team into one of the largest teams in the world, that was sort of like the last, you know, click, and here we are.
Talk to me a little bit about some of your perceptions of the media. What do you guys think of the media? What are some of your experiences dealing with the media in the past? Anyone?
Rat bastards.
Yeah, I didn't have anyone say that before, but it's don't repeat the negative is critical. I'm going to throw out a sample question. Isn't the ACE program that you guys are doing really a desperate attempt to save the sport?
Yes.
That would be the wrong answer.
I have to admit, mine's a completely different situation to the rest of the team regards my answers to those questions. Okay. I'm an ex-doper, so
right.
It's
4 years ago, and they found 2 empty syringes, which I'd completely forgotten about. And they then banned me for 2 years. But I did a fairly unheard of thing in a doping case, and I actually admitted to the races I doped in.
I don't think we want to go there. I don't think we want to be seen as agreeing that this is a desperate attempt to save this sport. If I asked you at a cocktail party, I saw you talking about it, and I asked you that question, do you feel it's a desperate attempt?
I feel that we're in a desperate situation.
But that's not the question. Do you feel that this is sort of a last-ditch, desperate attempt to change this sport around?
In a way, I do think it is, yeah.
If I came back into cycling after my ban, I was coming back into it with a responsibility. The sport hasn't been able to keep up with the cheating, and I think the fact that sport's so fucked up in so many ways, it's time we started fixing it.
David Miller, he's had incredible highs and incredible lows in the sport. He's seen everything from winning a yellow jersey in the Tour de France to getting caught up in a doping ring and spending 2 years out of the sport. You know, the pressure that David felt was not, he could win clean. He was talented enough to win clean. What happened was that by the mid-1990s, certain drugs became available that were actually effective enough that one person started doing it, and then someone else said, well, if I want to be competitive, I have to do that, and on and on and on and on until you have 90% of the professional peloton doping. You know, management fearing their own jobs because they needed to make the headlines of the newspapers would pressure riders, and riders fearing their jobs would therefore resort to doping. So our goals for 2008 are to become one of the top teams in the world, to gain entry into the Tour de France, to find a title sponsor, and to do it all clean.
When it came to building this year's team, it was a case of, we knew what the ultimate goal was, which is getting an invitation to the Tour de France. So we had to start picking guys who had a kind of a clean reputation in regards to doping, who had a good personality, who had a lot of experience, and who could lead basically this young American team.
All right, come on, 500 meters, guys, 500 meters. Come on, boys, come on, boys, come on, come on.
Shut! Bullshit! Come on! Turn around!
We call it bonding camp. Some people call it beer camp. We want to just get the group together, make it from a collection of individuals into a team.
Thank you, it was fabulous. Cheers. Only time during the year that we actually have a relaxed period of 7 days that we can actually breathe, have a few drinks, hang out with each other.
The riders get to really bond with their teammates. That makes it different from other cycling teams.
Nice one, Dave.
Awesome.
Doors open to the VIPs at 6 o'clock. When they bring you guys in, you guys will all just walk in and come to these places.
I just want to say a couple of words before we break up. When people look back at this era in cycling, they're really going to focus on this time and this set of people as, you know, the people who turned around cycling in this country anyway. I just want to tell you how proud I am to be able to introduce you guys tonight as my team. So thank you, and have a great evening.
Doug Ellis is bankrolling the team right now, and he's willing to do that through this season, but he'd like to stop hemorrhaging money if he can, and they'd like to attract a title sponsor.
Basically, if you want to run a cycling team, you have to do it with sponsorship dollars. But the scandals of cycling have really reduced the possibility for sponsorship. You know, it's hard to justify buying trouble or even buying the possibility of trouble.
See, look at yours. Yours is a little short. This looks good.
Boys, a great week together.
Teammates!
Better years ahead of us.
Back
into the greatest team in cycling. Cheers, boys.
To greed and not dope. Never let that enter the context of the team. To celebrate the preciousness of winning with honesty. And we welcome our new riders as they have chosen to join us in this spirit.
We'll give it up, please, for the Slipstream Chipotle team, the 2008 edition.
This past week has just been unbelievable. It's set the bar pretty high, and now it's up to us, the riders, to do our job.
guess the Qataris royal family just really likes cycling, and they wanted to have a race there. And it's important for us because it's the first race of the year that ASO puts on. ASO is the company that runs the Tour de France. It is complicated getting an invitation to the Tour de France. There's a lot of factors. There's no definitive empirical way to do it. You're invited, like you're invited to a party at the White House.
How does your wife like you being on the road all the time? She's used to it?
She does, it doesn't bother her.
You've been together for a while?
10 years.
How many kids do you have?
2.
So they're used to it too, huh?
The older one, we got a little calendar for her on the wall.
That's cool.
And basically she crosses out every day. So she can see how, how far to go before I get back home.
I'm Magnus Backstedt. I've been a professional for 12 years. I started my 13th year.
Can you tell me a little about your jersey?
It's the Swedish national champion jersey, which I got in June last year for the first time after 13 years of trying. So pretty proud of this one.
I won a stage in the Tour de France back in '98. I won the Paris-Roubaix in 2004. Those are probably the 2 big ones that I sort of tend to hold on quite dearly to.
Magnus is, he's kind of a big teddy bear. He's the largest rider in the peloton, but he acts like he's about that big sometimes. Like, he's just very soft-spoken and nice.
Magnus is someone who's certainly towards the end of his career. He's an older athlete, but he's very experienced.
I haven't really set a date as to when I'm going to pack up my bike. It's kind of one of them things that I think I'll find out myself when I reach that point when I'm not enjoying going out training every day and going to the races anymore. Then it's time to pack up.
Welcome to the 7th edition of the Tour of Qatar.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit chaotic in the beginning with the wind, crosswind coming up and everything. So, keep an eye open and, put on your safety belt.
70 kilometres an hour as big Magnus Backstedt, the Swedish national champion, rolls through. Coming into 1 kilometre to go on the left-hand side, it looks as if the Slipstream team are starting to make the move around the outside. And now the Swedish national champion and Magnus Backstedt is poised and waiting to make his move. He's starting to wind it up around the outside. Sutton is the man in the blue jersey. Van Uberman in silver. Until Magnus Backstedt's gone down. And Sutton has gone over the top of him. There's mayhem at the front. Magnus Backstedt was left strewn across the tarmac here in Qatar. Maybe his hopes for another victory at Paris-Roubaix are dashed within a couple of months of the season getting underway. Julian Dean also, it looks like his bike is far worse for wear than what he is. Chris Sutton is limping in across the line. Let's hope that his collarbone's not broken, because that does not look good.
What happened is Maggie's got his head down and one of the quick step guys pulls off in front of him and Maggie's bumped into him. And all our guys go on top. Just an accident.
Is Magnus okay?
I think he's broken his collarbone. So no, he's not okay.
A cycling crash is over 40 miles an hour, going all the way up to almost 70 miles an hour. They're not fun. I mean, you just don't have any protective gear. I mean, a little styrofoam lid on your head, I mean, okay, that prevents you from dying, maybe. Just imagine that you're in your car and you decide to strip down to your underwear, and you're driving out on the highway and you open the door and you jump out of the car. I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
He's you, big fella. Fuck me, I'm coming quickly there.
Oh, no, it's just a crash.
Oh,
She's down!
let's see that again.
And they show this bit afterwards where they pick up your bike on the floor, and then you just see you kind of, because it's focusing on the bike, you see you come, pick it up, and you're just standing there, and the handlebars are just fucking all twisted, and you just stand there and you look at it. And you just fucking do this, and you just turn around,
And just stand there. It's like...
They do actually say that, you know, they're not a proper bike rider until you've broken your collarbone at least once.
And how many times have you broken yours?
I think this is fourth time. So, you know, I'm a proper bike rider. I've done my fair share.
Thanks.
How are you, boy?
Make me proud tomorrow. I'll be watching on the television.
Yeah, thanks.
Good luck in cover. Yeah, I'll be back, man. Don't worry.
Although we didn't win the race, it was a win for us because our first impression was a great one. It probably added a little bit of an element of, wow, they can still perform even when someone crashes, they can still do well.
It sucks that we're here, you know?
We're here
They
because
should be
of Barry
testing
Bonds.
Barry.
And freaking Kobe Bryant and
LeBron James and all those freaking assholes.
I want to know how much they test them. Yeah, they go to Kobe's house 3 times in a month. No, they're like once a year.
You know, we test a lot. We test more frequently than I think any other team out there. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have a zero-tolerance program, and if one guy on our team goes positive, then 100 people in this organization lose their jobs and go packing.
Third-party drug testing is very important because it's not just a case of management saying, right, sign this piece of paper and promise not to dope, which a lot of teams do in the past and have done. What we're saying is we don't want you to dope. And we're going to invest money into preventing you from even having any temptation.
Shave our legs mainly for crashing. A lot of people think it's for aerodynamics, but when you have the bandage on, you can take the bandage off without having too much pain. I guess it's got some kind of aerodynamic purpose as well, but
we don't live the average lifestyle, you know. 2006, I was on the road for 320 days. This year, I'll be on the road quite a bit more. But, you know, you're only young once, you know. This is the only time I have my life to do this. It's the only time I have to go to the Olympics. It's the only time I have to live my dream. So I'm excited and scared.
Mike's had some brilliant moments, and he's had some kind of crappy moments early on in his career. I think sometimes he builds things up so big in his head and he tries to figure them out, but when he just lets it sort of go, you know, on its own, and doesn't try to over-cerebralize it, then he can win.
I'm gonna put this on the back of my saddle so I can be identified from the other riders from behind. This is all they're gonna see.
You know, this is vacation for me. Last time I saw him race on the track in Dallas, he won the points race down there. That was 2 years ago. That's what I'm really hoping for tonight.
it's cool, Dad. Modesty is a virtue. Modesty is a virtue. I enjoy having him around because he hasn't seen me race at this level in a long time. And it seems like I never ever do well in front of him though. It just seems like I have this like curse. And I know that it's not true, it's just I just never have a decent ride in front of him, so he's never actually seen me really win a big race. And that hurts. All right, big guy. Well, I'll see you at the track then, huh? I'm gonna get my laundry together here and my bag together and
All right, if there's anything I can do to assist you, let me know. I mean, I know you do.
There's like 900 people here to assist me. I can wipe my own ass.
You know, last year at this time, I was in attendance, but I wasn't racing. I was super depressed and not able to race. That was when I had my pulmonary embolism, blood clot in my lung, and I couldn't race for 6 months. But a year later, here I am at the World Cup and I'm racing. So I'm excited, stoked to be here and ready to race.
I was scared. One of the worst fears I've ever had in my life. No parent ever, and my parents told me this today, and they were just about in their 80s. No parent wants to bury their child.
I was on a date. I was laying in bed watching movie Cars, and I just started having these crazy spasms in my back. Like I felt like I was getting shot by a gun, or someone just stuck a knife in my chest and was just turning it, you know? And I thought for sure I was having a heart attack. What else would it be, you know? Who knew it would be a blood clot in my lung? 6 months, I couldn't really train normally. I couldn't go too hard because you never know if you're gonna bleed out internally. I couldn't crash, so I had to train with a big orange flag on my bike so that cars could see me. So it's been a pretty long road coming back, a really long road.
My focus this year is to participate at the Olympic Games. You know, not to race the Tour de France, but to actually pursue the track and go to the Olympic Games.
Track racing is a really important effort for us because of the Olympics. I think it's an opportunity for us to reach fans and also to reach prospective sponsors that otherwise we wouldn't have had access to.
So today at Los Angeles World Cup, Mike's going to be competing in what's called the points race. It's a pretty complex race on track cycling. And essentially every 5 laps, these guys are going to be racing for points. There's a lot of strategy involved. You've got to decide when you want to score your points, when you need to lay back, and it's a pretty exciting and intricate race.
Hesitates and hesitates. Now he's trying to change God, he's dumb. Unbelievable. He's riding like he's got 2 left feet. He's not paying attention to the race, you know. For Mike, you know, it's his chance to go to the Olympics, so.
This race for Olympic team birth, Cameron Meyer of Australia. Team Toshiba, 23 points. Unofficially our points race winner. Dominic Force out there tonight. Rafał Radczyk of Poland in second. A fantastic performance late in the race.
Even on a night like tonight, which was not one of his better nights, so few people can do what he did tonight. Even to finish 15th is tremendous.
The cycling team is a really complicated organism. We have about 50 employees, and about half of those employees are the athletes. Parallel to that is a whole staff of mechanics and soigneurs and doctors and race directors.
We're on the road 250 days a year, and we race, I think, almost 160 days total for the season.
There are a lot of times where there are 2 or sometimes even 3 races going on simultaneously. And so we'll have one squad that'll be racing at, you know, the Tour of Britain, while another squad will be racing the Tour of Missouri. And so in the end, it's this company with all of these different facets to it.
Okay, let's go.
It was neck and stuff too, man.
He won't let me.
You gotta like, just get this out.
Hold still. My name's Laura Pate. I'm married to Danny Pate. He's one of the riders on the team.
Hold it.
I think I can get it. I'm the soigneur, which is French for something. I think support. I'm not quite sure. I just get them ready to go on the race, I guess. Like, I'm gonna put out chairs and bananas and stuff for them to eat, and their bottles and that sort of thing. I think this year I've been home maybe 5 weeks total. It seems like it. It could be more like 6 or 7. Not very much. And maybe only 2 of those were with Danny.
Keys.
Perfect.
Breathe in.
Thanks.
Lara doesn't really fancy being a soigneur a whole ton, you know. Actually, she doesn't like it at all. She only does it basically to be able to so we can spend more time together and not be like a long distance relationship, you know. And
it's hard. He's with the guys and I'm doing my work, and I don't know, at night we go to the same hotel room, but a lot of times we don't interact a lot during the races, but like sometimes we'll make a point to go out to dinner together by ourselves, or if we can, or something like that, instead of going to the team dinner, because sometimes it just gets like old to have other people around us all the time.
this big misconception that cycling is an individual sport, professional cycling anyway. It's not true. In order to win a race, you need a team around you.
To really simplify cycling tactics, the team leader never wants to lead the race until the last possible moment that you can lead the race.
If you're sitting on the front, you're wasting a lot more energy than the guy sitting from behind you. So you always want to be behind somebody if you can.
And so the way to win the race is having your team leader positioned well, having riders around him protecting him. You know, it's the only sport where an individual wins and takes all the glory because of the work that his teammates gave to him.
So a very retro logo here beyond Fox. From Redwood High School as well. Basically, if you run a catwalk.
I just want to welcome everybody, especially these people who are wearing tuxedos at a bike race. It's a wonderful day. We probably know everybody here. Most of them I've actually been in rehab with.
Tour of California, I mean, it's only been around, this is third year. For us as an American team, next to Tour de France, it's probably going to be our biggest race of the year.
David Miller, you know, he's really taken ownership of this team. He really wants to show his new team to be one of the best teams in the world, and he's definitely put a lot of pressure on himself to, you know, to make sure that happens.
So are you not allowed to ride the Olympics?
No, not this year. Well, at the moment, what it's the British Olympic Association, they have a bylaw in place which forbids athletes that have been sanctioned for doping from ever doing the Olympics again.
Ever? Okay.
No, ever, yeah. Now, it's a weak bylaw, and I could appeal it. The thing is, if I do it this year now, if I would go to Beijing, I would get dragged through the mud in the press and the tabloid press. It would be a big story. And to be honest, I can't face it at the moment.
Yeah,
Everything's going so well with the team. Everything's going so well, and I'm like, it means digging up my past, going back to courts, going doing all this, and I have to ask myself, is it that important to me this year? I mean, it's important. I lost everything. I lost all my material possessions. I lost my sport. There was a doping investigation going on into my French team. I was the leader of the #1 French team at the time, and they decided to arrest me 2 weeks before the Tour de France. It was a pretty full-on thing. I was sitting in a restaurant with friends, and 3 drug squad from Paris came in and took me out and took me to my apartment. Went in there at gunpoint with guns and stuff. It was ridiculous. It was just farcical. But while they were clearing and stripping out my apartment, they found 2 empty syringes, and then that was it. I was fired from my team within a week, 10 days, and then was put in front of my national governing body's disciplinary commission, and they then banned me for 2 years. I spent about 7 months just drunk, and I lost everything, all my material life. So it was a very rapid 8-month downward spiral towards hitting rock bottom. I think we've built sport up onto a pedestal that perhaps it never belonged to be on. Basically, the media and sports writers create almost mythical stories out of sporting events and heroes out of these players, which isn't necessarily true. A lot of the time, they're just ordinary people that make ordinary mistakes who just happen to be born with an amazing talent.
Now this is how you do it, Bob. When you're the British road race champion, as David Miller is, you lead your teammate Tyler Farrar to the money.
Fucking A, go Dave Miller! Go Dave Miller!
I have never seen David Miller ride as well as this. He's won stages of the Tour de France, but he is riding with such confidence now for his new team, Slipstream Spotlight.
JV, I just want to say a couple of words. Today it was incredible. I hope we can carry on like this, but I mean the way we're racing today, it was so much fun, and I think we kind of made a good impression.
Time trials are shorter events during stage races, usually around 25 miles long. It's an event that is individual as opposed to in the pack. There's no drafting. It's simply fastest rider wins.
So on our squad, we have David Miller, who is a national champion at this discipline, and Christian Vande Velde, who people wouldn't identify as a time trialist necessarily, is also quite strong.
David Miller is certainly looking for a great ride here this afternoon.
And Miller looks as though he's got his rhythm and got it good. The British champion is sprinting home, and David Miller comes up, hits the line. Best time, 31.15. Miller is back.
Now, Phil, there are just 3 more riders out on course. We're waiting to see how they perform.
Levi won.
With how much?
Not quite sure. I'll go find out, but you still have to do the podium.
Almost the win. Dave Miller's always had, you know, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, you know, engine natural potential of anyone in cycling. He's just, as long as he's got good influences around him and people that understand his mind, then he's going to continue to grow as a rider. And I think we're just seeing the first evidences of that now.
And Christian?
Christian was a surprise to me. That was a surprise. Yeah, Christian, that's fucking awesome. Christian Vande Velde started out as just a born winner. He's been on some of the biggest teams in the world, was Lance's teammate in his first ever Tour victory in 2001. He's always been a very talented and very strong rider, but for one reason or another, he's never been thought of as a leader. He's always just been a team worker or domestique. The physical ability is unquestionably there. It's a matter of him believing that, which I think it's a long bridge to cross for him.
Christian? Yeah. Do you mind doing the press conference today? Never have. You always like to do nothing. But no, I guess not.
You want to do it or you don't? Yes, no?
No.
You don't want to do it?
Well, yeah, fine, I'll do it.
Okay. All right.
Cycling, you know, it's a lot of time by yourself, and it's a lot of time to think about how, man, I'm really suffering today. I'm not good. This guy looks really good. He's going to kill me.
Call Jonathan right away.
I was very close to retiring in 2005. I actually called Jonathan and told him, you know, like, I'm done. How about I come back and be a director for your under-23 guys? He was the one who actually, you know, convinced me, no, why don't you give it a little bit more time?
Please welcome Slipstream Chipotle!
As well as they did at Tour of California with 2 guys on the podium, the Tour of California is not owned by ASO, which owns the Tour de France. So no one was really sure how much that would play into ASO's decision on whether or not to invite Slipstream to the Tour de France. Well, Mike Friedman obviously loves his sport, and the commitment to anti-doping, the commitment to being clean is a very personal thing to him. In 2007, he had 2 clots in his right lung, pulmonary embolism.
The doctor walks in, and the first thing she asks me is, so what kind of drugs are you taking? You're a cyclist, right? You're a professional athlete, so what kind of drugs are you taking? You taking EPO? And it infuriated me.
Blood boosters, which are used by endurance athletes to enhance performance, can thicken the blood and lead to clotting. So the question was a logical one, but for Mike, it was not a logical one.
JV and Doug called me right away, and there was a press release that goes out that, you know, I'm in the hospital with a pulmonary embolism, and all of a sudden there's all kinds of drug accusations. You know, I must have been on whatever, you know, because I had a pretty good season in 2006.
The anonymous message boards on the internet were lighting up with the news that Mike Friedman was sidelined with a blood clot, and what did this mean, and he was probably a doper like all the rest of them.
And JV, he stood by my side for the whole thing, you know, and even defended me verbally and called people when it was necessary to defend me, and that meant a lot.
it wasn't just an abstract concept anymore to him. All of a sudden it was, oh my God, this really attacks who you are when you dope.
Swaneering, it was okay for the first year, and then the second year it was okay for about 3 months. Not good. This is definitely gonna be I probably won't help the team anymore. I think I need to close this chapter maybe. It's a really stressful job, and Danny's job is really stressful. And, you know, the last thing he wanted to do was lay in bed at night and hear me vent about my day and being stressed out because he's, you know, stressed enough, so.
Just hearing it all day.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever plan on having kids in the future, or you ever thought about it, or plan it, or?
Talked about it.
Yeah, we don't know.
The number keeps getting less and less.
Yeah, at first it was like 3. Oh no, 2 sounds good.
We're down to
Boy
1
and
now.
girl. Now we're down to 1. Now we're down to. Yeah, we don't even know. We'll see. My degree was basically journalism and political science, so I'm really wanting to get back into that. I've always wanted to be a news anchor or a roving reporter or that type of thing, just be out there. I like talking with people and that sort of thing, so it's so funny. Stop. He is so unsupportive. This is why I'm not. He's not into it, but I guess we'll see.
Paris-Roubaix is, I think it's the oldest one-day cycling classic in the world. The race traverses pretty much every Roman cobbled road that they can find, and you know they're actually fascinating old roads, and you can tell that they haven't been repaired much since then. Biggest factor is just your ability to go tearing into pounding of cobblestones, and you know just bam, 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 over and over and over again, and it literally feels like you're going to break something. Every year there's always massive crashes in Paris-Roubaix. I mean, it's a war. I mean, the race is a war. It's, just like Northern France was in World War I. I mean, it's trench warfare. It's just lobbing grenades back and forth, and eventually somebody wins and somebody dies.
The top was changed from country.
Yeah. These ones are, like Northern France is particularly bad because they're sort of curved, and there's about that much space in between every cobblestone.
Oh, so everything's a rush. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Basically, last time you saw me, I walked out the door with broken collarbone. I worked my ass off really to get back into shape, and I feel ready.
Well, Magnus is a classic specialist. Paris-Roubaix is his specialty race, and really the reason he's on the team is that we really think that we can, have a Paris-Roubaix winner. I think Paris-Roubaix is a race that captures the imagination of a lot of people and a lot of the fans that we really wanted to reach to, and it's a race the American public loves, and I want a guy who can, maybe win Paris-Roubaix, and he's the guy that fits the bill.
It doesn't get any bigger than this, except for the Tour, but this is basically the same level as the Tour. This is a one-day race.
Is this, like, in terms of one-day racing, this is the equivalent to winning the Tour de France? Mm-hmm. I reckon win this run and make your career for 10 years. I think he doesn't know it yet, but I think he's going to go find it pretty good. Go well.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Thanks for having us. It's more than just sharing dinner and dessert with each other. It's like having a brother, an older brother, who's experienced more than I have and can share. It's like having a close friend. He certainly looks out for me, and I certainly look out for him, even though I don't have to. If someone's going to mess with him, they're going to have to mess with me, and vice versa.
everybody, and welcome to our coverage of the 106th running of Paris-Roubaix over a distance of 259 kilometres.
There's Maggie Paxton as well in the blue and yellow. He's riding right at the front for Team Slipstream Chipotle. He's in fine form here. I think he too, Phil, despite having broken his collarbone in the Tour of Qatar in one of the first races of the year, he's got himself back to form for a race that he loves. And I have to say, to win this race, you have to have a certain affection for this race, because it is really a little bit mad. There's another
huge crash there.
Fuck. We got him wheels, but his brake pad is broken too. Shit.
Fuck, I'm hanging, man. That sucks. How do you brake?
Front and rear.
They brake like rims brake?
The one is, the front wheel's cracked. It looks like he broke a spoke on the rear one. Because he came, I mean, we could see it coming out.
Eight guys trying to go clear here. Big names in the world of cycling.
And there's a rider in this group, Phil, I have to say, from Team Slipstream Chipotle, and I think that could very well have been Martin Mascrant.
It is Martin Mascrant for Slipstream Chipotle. He's pulled away a very select group at 52 kilometres to go.
I remember halfway through Paris-Roubaix thinking we've got no chance of doing anything in this race now. And then out of nowhere, you know, in what was probably the most incredible ride for a neo-professional or first-year professional of the entire cycling season, Martin Mascrant comes out and decides to start swinging with the established stars of world cycling.
These boys are just fighting it out, tooth and nail. All swords are drawn.
He's going to top 10 his first Roubaix. That's amazing. An amazing ride for a kid of 24. Bad luck for Maggie. Very, very good day for the team.
Into the stadium is going to be Alessandro Ballan, who leads Cancellara and Boland. Tom Boland is going to go early. He wins Paris-Roubaix for the second time. Big Tom is an absolute superstar.
Young rider in fourth position there.
It is Martin Mascrant for Slipstream Chipotle. He powers round. First Paris-Roubaix, he's in fourth place. What's to come for the future for him? And what a result for Jonathan Porter's Slipstream Chipotle team.
At the end in the velodrome, that's like the most exciting. I mean, first of all, have the three guys come in and fight for it. And it was a beautiful day of racing. And then Martin came in alone. It was like, yeah, it's just like he's the only guy on the track.
You know,
first year pro.
Yeah, he's a first year pro. Yeah. So his agent calls me up and says, you know, do you want to talk with him? I mean, he's probably going to sign with Rabobank, but we just want to see it. And the guy was shocked that I flew from Denver to Amsterdam just for this Neo Pro. You know, this Espoir rider out of nowhere. And he took the bait. So there you go. You win some, you lose some.
Fucking hell, he won that one. I mean, what about Maggie? What happened to him? I mean, he got as far as Arenberg and then went fuck, basically.
No, he double punctured. So bye.
Yeah, high wheels.
They didn't come off their approach.
I ended up with a very, very disappointing ride. My wheels broken. That was it. Everything kind of collapsed underneath me. And then it was just a series of bad incidents in the space of about 3 kilometers. Basically, my life, my whole race was gone. And what do you do? That was it, you know.
Next year.
Rough luck, man, rough luck.
Aluminium wheel or steel wheels.
Cast iron.
You guys taking a vacation now? You guys gonna be home for a while? Or is it...
We're off to Euro Disney now for a couple of days. So off there tonight. Well, straight from here, yeah. So. try and track him down for 2 days before he has to start training again.
There guys, that picture is from when I was 17.
My son said, he's 6, he said, you know, Dad, 4th, better than you think. That's right.
We had a good race today, and it's the most important one-day race of the calendar. And we got 4th, and and then Tuesday we race again. And at that race, what we did at this race doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's just racing. I mean, there's the old saying, you're only as good as your last race. So at least for the next 24 hours, we get to enjoy being the 4th best in the world.
The soonest that we could find out about the Tour de France is something like a week from today. So it's our job to demonstrate that we're for real, we are strong, and that we deserve the invitation and can live up to it.
Hey, okay, on 3, 1, 2, 3, vive la France!
Even when I turned pro and I became a professional cyclist and I was doing other races, the Tour de France was still the be-all and end-all. It's always been the event that I hold closest to my heart, that I feel, that feels to me like professional cycling.
Tour de France is special for every cyclist just because it's a Tour de France. You have all these classic climbs that you know by name since you were 15 years old,
From a mental standpoint, it's like sailing across the Pacific. From an endurance standpoint, it's like trekking across Antarctica. It is this incredible circus of sweat, toil, and just pain.
First glimpse of the Eiffel Tower, the sheer excitement of having made it there finally. My teammate in tears when we crossed the line and embracing me and saying, now you know what it's like to ride in the Tour de France, to finish the Tour de France. It's the greatest thing you've ever done in your life.
What would be a good tour? Our ideal tour, I think, is that, we have the leader's jersey for a day or two. We win a stage and we have a rider in the top 10.
The sponsorship aspect of, this enterprise is obviously a big deal. Where do things stand with that? Are you feeling better about things than you were a year ago?
All right, hold on.
Well,
I'm going to answer that question for you.
Okay, but this is all off the record. NDA until June 18.
European style.
Yeah, it's on scale.
That's our New Jersey starting July 3rd.
Garmin Chipotle.
We finally don't have to rob Doug's piggy bank, everyone.
It's great.
We were searching for a title sponsor. We found one. I guess it's more of a relief than it is, I mean, it means the team is going to exist for a long time. Now we brand everything Garmin, head to toe.
There it is, boys. We got ourselves a new sponsor.
Who is that, Alan?
It's Christian Vandervelde. Notice how aerodynamic he looks? Look at that great head position.
There goes my son right there. I'm just concerned that Mike needs a good finish because his last good place that I can remember was 12th in Belgium, and that was, January or February. So I want to see him up front with a couple of good places. And what I'm really hoping for is that next week he gets a good spot on the Olympics. He qualifies for the Olympics. That would be the one big one that I would really like.
We should try to figure out what the order is going to be, because the sooner the better.
I'll be sad if he doesn't get to go to the Olympics. In 2006, he was easily, by far and away, the best, track rider in the United States. And then, last year he struggled to come back from his injury, and then this year he just hasn't quite put all the pieces together. He's got a lot of talent. It's just, taking a little while to pull it out.
It's just been an emotional roller coaster, I mean, you get your highs and you get your lows, and it just seems like I just get all hyped up and I'm ready to rock and roll, and then it doesn't work out for whatever reason, one or another. And if I make the team, it'll be a dream come true. If I don't make the team, man, I made a lot of sacrifices.
So there's 4 of us out there going for this time, and whoever has the fastest time will be an automatic qualifier for the Olympics. And then the second rider will be chosen via coach's selection.
The whole winter's been really stressful because all 4 of us are really good friends, and at the end of the day, 2 are staying home and 2 are going.
16. It's just such a tough thing, I think, mentally and emotionally, to put yourself in the place of just like, you've got to beat these guys that are your friends, and you got to put yourself first. But at the end of the day, not all these people are going to go to the Olympics, so they have to fight it out amongst themselves. What I've told Mike is that, just to be in the Olympics, just to be able to say, I was an Olympian, is a very powerful statement, and everybody gets it. And so when you are on that start line, put it all out there, because you want to be on that team. You do not want to miss this opportunity. I wish Mike would just say, okay, I'm a nice guy, but on this day, in this ride, I'm not going to be a fucking nice guy. I'm just going to do everything I can to beat these other guys, because I want that spot.
Big focus, confident, aggressive, Mikey. Let's go. Big ride for us. How much do we burn out?
Sorry, man. I thought you were gonna fucking crush everybody here. Just put a lot into it, And for it to be over is just kind of the way it's gone, anyways. How do you break it to your dad, root for your day? You need to make the team. How do you do that? I don't know how I'll do it.
But the second spot hasn't been determined yet.
No, that's true, but I just can't keep having hopes, I just can't keep doing that. It's too hard mentally to just have wishful thoughts, and keep hoping. I just rather get let down now and have that be a surprise if it happens,
Yeah. I know he has the ability to do a lot better than that. So yeah, I was disappointed. I don't know why exactly he didn't put it together on that particular day, but he didn't.
It really would have been nice just to win and go, all said and done. Say la vie, and then we have a plan, and that's what JV wanted. And in his eyes and my eyes, I failed. Man, I fucking failed. So, and that's really freaking hard to swallow. So, yeah.
When I was a kid, I watched I think it was 92 games, and I was watching the games in my parents' bedroom, and I just remember how how such an amazing feeling was, and how I felt such a weird rush. Even at that age, I just felt this insane rush. You know, I don't even have to go necessarily and win a medal. The fact that if I can just go and be an Olympian is something that I take with me to my grave. To be an Olympian is like a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Here. Come chill. Susha, right back here, too?
What?
Is Susha right in the back here? Susha! Come on, Susha.
Good girl.
You have water?
Good job, kid. I had lost all my friends from traveling so much from the past 4 years. Like, Danny's travel days for last year were something like 260. You know. Yeah, you're living out of a hotel and out of your apartment in Europe that you're only in, you know, for some of the time, and it's hard. It's really hard. Okay, come on. They want to run anyway. I mean, I can't think of one couple that I know that the husband is a pro cyclist that they haven't just had serious difficulties. I don't know. They're really great guys, but they're really, like, I think just by necessity, they're very narcissistic as well. They just, you know, everything kind of revolves around their training, their diet, themselves, how they feel, how they're being supported, that sort of thing. And I think that makes it hard. Makes it really hard.
Today's the day, so he can't even put it into words how emotionally strong it is. It's just unreal. Hello? Hey, Pat. I'm a member of the 2008 Olympic team. Yeah, I'm good, Dad. How are you? You better get ready to go to China. It's pretty darn cool, huh? Dad, I can't believe it's happening.
Our goals for the Tour de France going in, more than anything else, I want to see that our team is combative. You know, we're in the breakaways, we're part of the race. We're one of the teams racing the Tour de France. We're not just surviving the Tour de France, and I think that that's fundamentally important for us. You know, there are so many teams that race the Tour de France that really, they're there, but they're not part of the game, and we want to be part of the game. I don't want to just be the kid that begs his way in to get an invitation to the cool kids party, and then he goes and just sits in the corner.
Dave, Christian, Martin, Trent, Danny, Danny Pate, Ryder, Julian.
There's your 7. Everybody agrees on that 7.
Yeah, everyone agrees on the 7. So then there's the last 2. So it's Christoph, Tyler, Will, Magnus for 2 spots.
Yeah.
4 final guys are Tyler Farrar, Magnus Backstedt, Will Frischkorn, and Christophe Laurent. And we only have 2 spots for those 4 guys. Christophe Laurent, his strengths are going to be that he'll be consistent. His weaknesses, he still hasn't learned English, so his communication skills inside the team aren't so good. Magnus's strengths is he'll be very experienced in the Tour de France. His weaknesses are that when he's off form, he just can't climb at all. Tyler Farrar is another sprinter, but he really hasn't shown great climbing form so far this year. Will, his strengths are basically his enthusiasm and his willingness to just completely die for the team. His weakness is just, he's never done a tour. He's a little bit inexperienced.
A little stress going, kind of waiting to hear what Jonathan has to say today. The tour is the pinnacle. It's, you know, when people think, especially in the U.S., when people think of cycling, they think of the Tour de France. And you know, for all of us as U.S. guys, I mean, when we started cycling, that's what's been in the back of our minds the whole time, I think, for most of us at least. And all of a sudden feeling like that's a possibility
yeah, it's different than any other race.
Magnus at 80% is better than the other three, so Magnus has got to go.
I think with Tyler, from what I saw in Route du Sud, I mean, Tyler can't finish the Tour de France. It's a questionable whether he can even, you know, even because stage 6 is already pretty hilly.
Will and Christophe, they are in the same situation.
Yeah.
So you take a French guy.
You're right. That, you know, with Christophe, you get, you know, the French media and ASO is just a little bit happier. Maybe they don't care. Like maybe, but like they're just a little bit happier. The French media is a little bit happier.
If you're looking from a business standpoint, as far as Garmin, as far as the American team, we're going to take Will.
And that's a lot more TV coverage, right?
Well, there's only 4 Americans in the whole race. Well, 3 if we don't take.
So Will's going to get TV coverage even if he's not a star because they have to tell the American story.
Well, what about Christophe? I mean, if he doesn't make the tour team, he's going to like commit suicide and go to the press and tell the press that we're a shitty team. And,
Yeah, but then he's only talking out his ass then, isn't he?
That is the question.
Have we debated it enough? Are we ready for the? All right, here. I'm gonna go. I'm going Democratic here, man. Because that's the way this team started. So.
You're wrong about Magnus, Whitey. I'm gonna come and find you.
If Magnus is average, it's still better than taking 2 average riders.
Okay, here we go.
No, it's JB.
Yo.
Oh, thank you, boss. Thank you so much. That's a relief. That's good to hear.
To the Tour de France,
That
man.
works.
Congratulations, man.
Oh. How you doing? Hey, Tyler. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, we just basically had the director's meeting, and we, sorry. No, I mean, I don't think you're being penalized. I'm just telling you what the, you know, I'm just telling you that, you know, I mean, I could be dead wrong. I'm not saying, you know, and there's still obviously the possibility that you go if somebody gets sick or whatever over the next couple of days, but, you know, that's the, that didn't go particularly well.
Garmin Jupotel qui est accueilli par le public de presse.
I'm looking forward to this race. I mean, I'm nervous because I have based my whole year around it, but I'm also confident that I've done everything right, and I'm going to enjoy it.
You know, start of the year, people didn't see us as a big team. We've ridden like a big team from day one. That's why we've achieved big things. I've been very consistent with a pretty small and inexperienced team. We've done some super things because of the way we've ridden as a team, you know. Whether we win or we lose, whatever happens in the next 3 weeks, we do it together. We do it collectively, you know. All right, boys. Nap time.
Christian Prudhomme pulls the flag in to indicate that the Tour de France is now most definitely started.
Tour de France is 3 weeks, 2,500 miles, and 21 stages. Each race is very high intensity, and the riders are allowed to recover overnight, and then it's high intensity the next day. It's like doing a marathon every day for 3 weeks. I mean, imagine if marathon runners had to do that. I mean, they'd you know, be on their deathbeds by the end of the thing, and that's the way the tour riders are.
As soon as the flag came in at the start of the stage, it was the American on the Garmin Chipotle team who launched the first attack at kilometre 0. William Frischkorn was keen to get away from the rest of the peloton.
Come on, Will. Come on, you're there, buddy.
The 4 men have just gone past the official 25-kilometre to go banner. They now know they're looking at 35 minutes of pain left and probably a whole lot of glory. And if you want me to pick a winner from this group, I'm not sure.
Will's got a shot at winning. Strong tailwind, so there's no way the group's going to be chasing him. It's going to be basically each guy versus each guy, a 4-man breakaway, and Will's got a 1 in 4 chance of winning right now, which was a lot better than how we started the day.
But forget the race for first place now. The winner's going to be Paolo Longo, Romain Feylieu, Samuel Dumoulin, or William Frischkorn of Garmin Chipotle. One of those 4 today will win the Tour de France stage.
for a rider like Will, you know, it isn't necessarily a star or whatever. Like winning a stage of the Tour de France is the defining moment of an average professional rider's career.
Paolo Longo, I've never seen him sprint in my life, so I don't know, of course. The other riders will be doing just what I'm doing, and they're setting. There goes the attack. Dumoulin's not living into the sprint, and Will Frischkorn is going after him too. Paolo Longo a little bit slower. Romain Filleux, he tags on the back. All he want to do is hold on there.
It's all about to come together again.
900 metres to the finishing line, and Filleux is going to go straight by them, and Frischkorn must react. This boy is going to go out on a high in yellow, and as a stage winner, Frischkorn goes again. He drills himself here, but he's taking with him Dumoulin, who may still have some legs left. Forget Longo, he's gone now. This is an awful long kilometre for these rides. Come on, William Frischkorn for Garmin Chipotle. But on the line, Frischkorn, that was the way we thought, Paul. Dumoulin gets the win. Frischkorn gets second. Filleux gets third.
Good. Did you get sick too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'm disappointed. It was an amazing day. I mean, amazing. Attacked literally K0, dove through, we were gone, and oh man.
You look so good
I thought I had a chance there. And oh man.
Did you think of attacking at all?
Oh, it's a consolation prize. You know, I think probably came my way because I initiated the breakaway. But, you know, to get that close, to get that sniff but not the taste is tough. You know, what a stage victory the Tour does for you, for your career, is huge. And to be close to that, but not, yeah. But still an amazing day.
I'm not really nervous for today. You know, it should be a good day.
That's actually a perfect lead.
I'm worried about Magnus. He really hasn't shown great climbing form so far this year. He's got a self-belief that sometimes is a little bit misplaced. You know, say, oh, I'm in great form, but he's not always in great form when he says he's in great form.
Well, we're not going to get very long for a few deep breaths, Paul, before we are on to that second category climb. We're virtually at the start of it now.
Well, when they come into the town of Murat, that's basically, Phil, where the climb starts. So anybody who's missed out's got to get right up to the front.
I was fine today for the first 50 kilometers, and then I kind of started feeling that my legs were, you know, going a bit heavy, and got worse and worse and worse and worse. And by the time we got to the fourth category climb, I just had nothing left, nothing at all.
I so wanted to make it to Paris this year. You know, to finish just 4 minutes outside the time limit. There is nothing worse for a cyclist. Literally, there is nothing worse.
You know, he's a big guy, so, you know, I think he just kind of, just wasn't able to do it.
It's a shame.
Well, Magnus did not make the time cut. It's a percentage of the winner's time that if you finish outside of that, you are not allowed to start the next stage. You're basically eliminated from the race, whether or not you finished or not.
It came as a surprise to everybody that Maggie Bagstad missed the time cut. He looked visibly in pain after the stage. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
I mean, you know, we all have bad days at work, and so he had his.
Well, this is one of the legendary climbs of the Tour de France, first introduced into the Tour in 1910 to toughen up the race. It's certainly toughening up the race here in 2008.
The stage to Hautacam is the first real, true testing ground of this Tour de France. The guys who are going to be in contention to win the Tour de France are going to be, you know, at the front.
Any one of these high mountain stages separate the men from the boys, but the first one also separates the leaders from the not leaders.
Oh, that's a terrific move by Christian van der Velde.
Christian van der Velde could very easily, Phil, be sitting in third place in the overall standings tonight.
He's been absolutely outstanding, Christian. I think deep down in our hearts, we did not expect van der Velde to survive the mountains today, as he has done for 9 days. And yet he's not only survived them, he's been absolutely superb.
And you can see Van der Velde has come to the front. He's trying to lift the pace a fraction now as he gets towards the line.
He could be third overall still. Cadel Evans is chasing him down. It is going to be close.
Christian, today you made your day. You were the best climbers in the world. They were attacking you. You were attacking them back. You definitely made your mark on this tour. How do you feel right now?
I feel great. I mean, this is what I've been thinking of for a long time, and it's great to finally do it here.
Top 3 in GC, Christian. Awesome ride.
Thank you.
Christian, what's the feeling with Evans?
Can I get a little room, guys?
I was domestique my whole career, getting water, food, and it was really rewarded being with great riders, you know, like Lance. But yeah, it's just different now. I remember calling Carsten Kroon, one of my teammates in CSC, and he's like, "Shit, man, you might win the Tour de France. What the hell is going on?" You know, like I know it's really a possibility, isn't it, Carsten? And you know, it's a little bit of, you feel pressure though. At the same time, it's a little bit scary.
The biggest thing with Christian is just convincing him that he can do it.
Right.
I mean, that's because he's never convinced he can. So.
Christian van der Velde had the potential from his almost very first day in the bike to win this race. But that potential was never nurtured. He was never encouraged to be as good as he should have been. Obviously because he was performing in the shadow of, you know, Lance Armstrong. A prime example of that is that in 1999, in his second season as a professional, he rode for US Postal, and they had this pre-season training camp where they were asked to ride it flat out for 10 kilometers, and they were going to have a little sample of their blood taken at the end of it. And that sample was tested for lactate, which is an indicator of fitness and indeed of your potential as an athlete. And in that test, Van der Velde finished second, except that he didn't really finish second, he actually won it. And the reason why the numbers were doctored was because the team leader was Lance Armstrong, and the team management didn't think that Lance would take too kindly to this young upstart upstaging him.
Supposedly, it just kind of contorted the results a little bit, so that Lance won, and I was behind him. And just keep confidence, and the more I think about it, you know, now that I understand how much confidence really does mean to you as a cyclist, I think Johan's a genius by doing that.
To keep Lance's confidence.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's great.
But what did it do to your confidence?
I was still psyched that I got second to Lance, man. I was 22 years old, man. Years before, I would have never beaten my whole team.
The team has really looked at me as a leader as a team. You know, we didn't have...
I think one of the unfortunate things is I was dropped on the Tourmalet, so I didn't really have any idea what was going on in the race. I rode back down the mountain, got to the bus to find Christian in third overall. And I was like, ooh, what's this? For the first time in his career, he was mixing it up with the very best. It was amazing to see Christian exceeding what his expectations were. And on the same day, that day and the day before, I was just plummeting in my condition. I was just getting worse and worse. And I can remember being extremely kind of in awe of Christian. I was in awe of the fact that what he was doing. And then I was just kind of also a bit confused at how bad I was, and wishing I could be doing what Christian was doing, be where he was in the race.
168 riders on the start line this morning, one not able to start because Barlow World's Moses Duanas had returned a positive drug test at EPO, the gendarmes on hand to take him away for further questioning. His tour and possibly his career is over.
Oh shit, and Barlow World have pulled out. What? Barlow World have now pulled out.
I figured they would.
Yeah.
They quit the race? Yeah.
Hang on, wait, no, sorry, no, they just pulled out the rider, not the team, so really in French.
I thought they were going to pull out for sure.
Yeah, they're saying their other riders will continue racing.
I was going to say. They promised that's why angry. I'll promise to quit taking shit.
Yeah. We promise. Pinky promise.
It's a tragic situation. I mean, it's too bad. But I mean, end of the day, like, it's you know, I mean, that's controls are working. I mean, that's why they test people. Statistically speaking, there may be another one before the end of the tour. And
people say to me all the time, like, why are you involved in cycling? You're working with a bunch of dopers, cheaters. What's bullshit is the hypocrisy that exists. Journalists like you are all in this frenzy about it now. Why weren't you in a frenzy about it 10 years ago? It pisses me off.
But I didn't know about it 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, everyone knew about it 10 years ago.
My son made this for you.
You just got here today?
Yeah, just got here.
47th now.
It was really hard for Dave. He's never been anything but a leader. So it was very hard for him to take a step back and see his place on the team during the Tour de France.
It was odd, simply because our roles completely reversed, whereas I was the kind of natural leader, if you like. It kind of became that Christian's the leader.
It's a long, vicious, unrelenting climb, this. It really is, and it gets steeper and steeper.
Okay, Christian, the next 5K of this climb are going to be pretty much the hardest 5K of the climb, and then it actually gets more gradual toward the top.
This is really, Phil, at this point, just a question of survival. You get a chance there to see how steep this climb is.
We really are on top of the world here. This is the highest through road in Europe.
I was suffering the whole day there. I was really having a hard time. It was more or less just like one kilometer, really just not being able to push myself that much harder and just to stay with the group, because I'm sure if I would have got through that, then most likely would have been okay over the top. But
well, I think Van der Velde has dropped there, Paul, because he's not in that group up the road at the moment. He needs to dig deep right now. It's every man for himself.
the team didn't know that I was off the back for me. They're still like talking to me, and I was like, I'm dropped, like.
The road was curving like this, and he was getting dropped on the outside of it, and so the cars in front of us were actually blocking him, so we just couldn't see him. And so we're talking to him, and all of a sudden, he's right in front of us in the car, and it was, it was just shocking. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, we needed someone to, to be able to try to pace Christian back into contention.
We need to have Ryder just stop and come back and help Christian. We need to have Ryder come all the way back and stop and help Christian.
Tell him to stop now.
Just tell him to stop now.
Ryder has to stop pedaling now. We need Ryder back with Christian immediately, okay? Christian has lost contact with the front 7 or 8. We need him to stop immediately.
At that particular moment, Ryder was in a position to win the stage, but because Ryder knew his only job that day was not stage win, was to help Christian. Ryder sacrificed his chances, dropped back, and came to Christian.
There's Ryder there. There's Ryder there. Just past the front group. Stop.
All right, Ryder, loosen up those legs and get ready to do everything you can to help Christian. He's just about 10 seconds behind you, Ryder. He's coming up.
Ryder really came through for Christian that day. I don't think he was happy when he found out that one of the riders he was riding with up in front was the one who actually ended up winning the stage. Of course not, but but he understood.
I think there's always going to be a little part of himself, because he's human, that can imagine himself having gone on and won the stage, which he was fully capable of doing. I think he was very proud of what he did. We were all very proud of him, that's for sure. And I think if he'd won the stage that day and Christian had been left on his own, it would have been, Ryder wouldn't have been a popular person, and I don't think Ryder would have lived very well with himself if he'd done that.
Come on, guys, come on. You can make up a lot of time by just going as hard as you can over the top of this thing. You can make up a lot of time, guys. 500 meters. Come on. You're picking them back. You're bringing it back. Come on, boys. Come on.
Both of you guys full gas down this descent, guys. We're going to limit everything we can.
We were trying to make up time on the descent, and I made a bad decision going through one of the switchbacks and just washed out. It wasn't a horrific crash by any means, but it did take my edge away, or all the guts that I did have away completely, and I lost my rhythm, From there on, we did a horrible descent, you know. I lost even more time on the downhill than I did on the climb, which is all the more frustrating. It was a horrible ride home from the race, and I was really upset and disappointed, and I felt bad for the team. I felt bad for everybody, and I felt bad for Ryder for having to sit up. I felt, you know, it was just not fun for me. What I really thought of, maybe this is me. This is my natural level.
Yeah, more.
My legs were so bad those first 20 minutes yesterday. I was like, oh fuck. That's why I was spinning so much the rest of the day. The fear.
I mean, we were probably like about 100 guys back, and guys are flicking the shit out of each other. Yeah. I'm not losing one more spot. No service. Yeah, he was crying. Wegman was crying. I felt so bad, man.
He was crying.
Yeah, he was breathing so hard. I'm like, maybe it's asthmatic or something. But it's like, no, he's crying.
Yeah, I thought he was joking, right? I thought he was like, oh, I'm not tired, you know, I was pretending.
Just didn't ride enough on the rest day. And it hurt him.
We told him 3 hours minimum.
Yeah.
He wussed out of it in the middle of it.
Rest days aren't rest at all. Like, you can't rest. As an athlete at this level, like, you take a day off, you're basically fucked for 2 weeks. I mean, you can't, you just can't rest. Like, your metabolism is so revved up. Yeah, fuck, man. We talked about that and talked about it, and then it's like, no, let's go home early. Like,
Stage 17, Alpe d'Huez, is the most famous climb in the Tour de France. It's been the place where some of the greatest battles in Tour de France history have gone down. Going into that, I think we were all very nervous and very, as to how Christian was going to be. It was a fearful day.
Van der Velde is riding a superb Alpe d'Huez here this afternoon. But look at the face, he's almost licking his lips on Alpe d'Huez.
The easy thing is always to say, like, oh, we knew that he wasn't going to be that good, or I knew that he was riding way above and beyond himself the whole time, that he could never hang with those guys. I was like, fuck that, man, I'm going to be up there.
We're all around the bottom corner as Andy Schleck races for the line. Christian Van der Velde looking for the 4th place finish.
Christian, maybe the best day in the mountains you've had in your career. What was going through your mind thinking about what happened yesterday and feeling as good as you did today?
I mean, you know, I was really down yesterday. I was really down. Haven't been down too many times like that in my career, you know, but what are you going to do? You know, I spent half my year in a training camp and racing my ass off. I'm not going to throw it away now.
Yeah, now...
He did a spectacular ride on Alpe d'Huez. People were expecting that after he'd sort of cracked the day before that was it, that he was going to, you know, drop down to 15th overall or whatever, and instead of doing that, he really came back with a show of force.
So what happens is minus 4% grade. You got this little flat section right here.
I'll say something to you on the radio.
It's interesting, you know, the difference between 5th and 6th is a world, you know. It's like the difference between 7th and 8th, no one cares. The difference between 9th and 10th, no one cares. But 5th and 6th, it's a huge difference.
My biggest goal is just to come across the line, being completely spent and wringing my body like a towel and saying I could not have gone any faster today. If that means I win the stage or I get 7th place, so be it, as long as I have that feeling.
Joy is joined in the commentary box. David Miller, great to see you.
Hi, David.
And have you enjoyed the Tour de France this year? Has it been a good trip?
Yeah, I mean, I do always enjoy it. I mean, it's a lot harder when you're struggling physically, which I was the last 10 days, 2 weeks. But I think what saved me from really dropping into the depths of self-pity was having a Christian who's just raised his game and given me something to kind of do during the days. And
for now, you know, his tour is all about Christian, and he seems to be very happy with that role. I mean, it took him a second to get there, but I think now he's really turned the corner on that and sort of embraced it as a new objective.
A rider like Christian deserves to have achieved such a high height in his career. I think it was more I was just gutted at first that I was just going shit. And then I became very quickly aware that it was actually a good thing having, thank God, Christian was up there, because all of a sudden it gave us a raison d'etre. It solidified the team, and it's made our life just infinitely more purposeful.
I came across the line and I was pretty spent, and I really pushed myself hard from start to finish, and I don't think I could have gone much faster.
You came to the Tour de France with the ambition of a top 10. You finished 5th overall. You enjoyed your underdog status coming into this race. Is that going to be lost in the future?
I think that's officially gone, but that's fine too. You know, we'll just come to the tour with a different mentality and a different game plan.
All right, Christian, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Hold on, dude. Thanks for everything.
Next time, in a cooler moment, a month from now, when you're interviewing Christian, remind him that I told him to
And he said, no, this is making me tired. This isn't going to do anything.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'm smarter than I look.
It isn't a day where the overall contenders of the race actually race. Traditionally, it's almost like a parade for the riders. They realize they've accomplished something that almost no one does, and even if people want to, you know, it's just an almost impossible thing to accomplish. I mean, you're, you know, the 99.99th percentile as far as genetic gifts, and you're 99.99th percentile work ethic, and 99.99th percentile in fortitude, and it's pretty hard to come up with a person that's all of those things, and only if you're all of those things will you ever reach the Champs-Élysées.
Stage 21, the final stage of this year's Tour de France, from Étampes onto the Champs-Élysées in Paris. The peloton now heads in towards Paris. They'll have 8 laps around the Champs-Élysées. They're about to go through the finish line for the first time.
Yeah, going to Paris is wonderful. But then when you hit the Champs, you kind of speed picks up a bit, and it's like, whoa, this is big. And it's like you suddenly realize, like, it's massive. And then the race is on. And then all of a sudden, doesn't matter how tired you are, you start to feel good.
1 lap to go, 6.5 kilometers of the 3,500 we've covered in 3 weeks. The Tour de France is going home this lap, and David Millen, he is going to try and finish this off for Garmin-Chipotle, who are bringing all except one of their riders home.
No, it's climatic. That's what it is. It's not anticlimactic, it's fucking incredibly climatic. And it's just... It's about the most climatic thing you can ever do.
Cheers, old boy.
Cheers. Good to see you.
I did think about what it would have been like to be on that podium, and I really wanted to be there. And that's all I could really think of, that, you know, that did a great race, and I'm kind of content about it, but I'm not, you know, and I really want more. And that's what I felt.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not worried about getting invited next year, that's for sure.
Watching the riders come down the Champs-Elysees was like watching your kid, graduate from college. You're happy for them. You're also happy that you didn't screw up.
It was the most gratifying Champs-Elysees lap of honour I've ever done, that's for sure. It was something that I don't think any of us had dared dream about in the year building up to it. So to actually be on the Champs-Elysees with Doug and JV and Christian, 5th overall, and now favourite for the next year's Tour de France, it was a fairly epiphanical moment. It was nice. I liked it.
Such a beautiful life, it's such a beautiful life. It's such a beautiful life, it's such a beautiful life. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's such a beautiful life, it's such a beautiful life. It's such a beautiful life, it's such a beautiful life. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's such a beautiful life, it's such a beautiful life.
You may be really excited to be here with team, but we've been with camera this whole entire fucking goddamn time. So, turn it off, sir.